Once you get it all together, it's quite a lot of stuff. Oh my god. Okay. Right, am I in the center, in the frame? Yeah, cool. Hello there, my name is Jonathan and I'm a knitter and creative person who is from Ireland originally, but I've lived in London for the last 10 years. And I have decided to be yet another knitting podcast on YouTube. I already have a couple of videos on YouTube about stationery and knitting, but I thought I would dive in and do like the more standard knitting podcast format that I really enjoy watching myself and thought I would want to get involved with too. So I'm going to keep it fairly standard, just doing recent finished objects, works in progress, and then some plans for future projects slash acquisitions. Everything I've bought has like a plan for it, so I'm pretty happy about that. But a little bit about me and my knitting journey. I started knitting actually when I first moved to London, and I didn't have a job at the time, and I was really bored, and I needed something to keep myself nice and productive. So I took up knitting, and since then I knit on and off, just like maybe scarves, gloves, the odd hat, every year or so, just kind of as I needed it. But in the last year, with lots more time on my hands, I've really jumped back in and made some things that I've never made before and really challenged myself to learn a lot more knitting techniques. And I've just loved it. It's been great. So I've been knitting a lot more than I ever have in my entire life, and I want to share that. So let's jump right in with recent finished objects. Let's start with, we can start with what's on my foot. Let me see if I can make sure. Ooh, this is zoomed in. When did you zoom in? Hold on. Let's jump in with finished objects. The first thing I'm going to do is what I'm wearing. I will insert pictures. Let me see. I've got my watch here so I can see if everything's fitting. So this is, ooh, look at this, professional. So professional, so professional. So these I've worn once. I'll insert a proper picture of them, but these are the Twisty Bois socks by Niklas, and he lives here in the UK as well. I like to try and support UK designers, people who are local to me, and especially male pattern designers, because there's so few of us. And yeah, so these are cable socks. I knit them in Quince & Co. Finch, and the two colors are Fjord and Nasturtium are the two colors. The orange is the Nasturtium and the blue is Fjord. They're really nice. It was my first time doing toe-up socks, and it was my first time doing short row heels. It was my first time cabling on a sock, so it was like loads of new techniques all together, and I really enjoyed it. I don't think the heel short row, the German short row heel, fits me as well as the heel flap and gusset, which I'm more used to. But I did really enjoy the fact that you can just keep knitting. You don't have to like pick up stitches or anything like that. So I really enjoyed that, and I also enjoyed the cast on, which was the Turkish magic cast on, or just the Turkish cast on. I call it magic because it feels magical. It's one of those techniques. And there's another technique I'll talk about later where I just don't know how it works. I'm just like, I did it. I followed the instructions on YouTube, and then I was like, oh my God, how did that even work? I don't get it. So it was amazing. So I really enjoyed these socks. They're comfortable. As I said, the heel isn't perfect, but I really enjoy wearing them, and I think they're really bright and summery and fun. So I like wearing them with my slippers or with like clogs or something like that I can like show them off at the same time. And the next thing is, I'll pull this one up, is this. This is my Kinship shawl. This was in, let me pull up. This was in issue 35 of Pom Pom Quarterly. It is by Stephen West and Olga, oh gosh. Olga, I'm so sorry. Olga Buraya-Kefelian, Olga Jazzy on Instagram. She is Stephen West's super well-known designer, and Olga is this amazing designer who just does these amazing like geometric patterns in her knitting that almost don't even look like knitting. And I absolutely love it. I actually knit this for the Kinships and Friends make-along for Piece for Piece Crafting, his podcast, Michael from Piece for Piece Crafting, and it was like a huge motivator for me to finish it and get it done because he like extended it, and I'm so happy I like rushed through and powered through and finished it. It's only my third shawl that I've ever done, and I really loved it. I loved the I-cord edge that's along here. I love the slip stitch pattern. I love the colors. I'm really happy with it. It's super wearable and super comfortable and warm. The yarn is Garthenor Preseli, and the colors, the blue is Dragonfly, the dark gray is, let me put it, I have it here. The dark gray is Cadet, and the light gray is Heron. And Preseli is a, I'm gonna pull it up here because I've got my little notebook with all my information. Preseli is, let me read, 75% Polworth and 25% Romney, so it's 100% wool. This is a 4-ply fingering weight, and it is certified organic and climate positive wool, so I love that about them, and it's made here in the UK, so it's obviously non-superwash. So this would be my second finished object that I would like to share with you, and I absolutely love it. I can't wait to make more of, Stephen West designs are always great fun to knit, and then Olga's designs, I have a few already that I would like to do because it was a super enjoyable knit. So next finished object, am I going too fast? I don't know. I like when we move along quickly. The next finished object, oh my god, so much stuff, is my third ever sweater. And I'm going to talk about this because it leads in quite well to my first whip. This is the, it's a bit creased. This is the Flax Light by Tin Can Knits. It is a top-down raglan jumper. I can pop it on actually super quickly so I can explain what I liked and what I didn't like about it. I've knit this in Brooklyn Tweed Loft. So the goal was, after I knit my first two jumpers and made one for myself and one for my boyfriend, I wanted to make a fingering weight jumper that was like super wearable and super easy and like simple. And the flax, it's like a very like beginner friendly pattern, so I wanted to do that. My issues are the following. I do like it and I do like wearing it. My issues are the following. First of all, I don't think I chose the right yarn. The Brooklyn Tweed Loft, and this is the color tartan, I believe. It's like cozy and soft and it's nice, but it's how do I describe it? It doesn't drape very doesn't have a very flowy drape. It feels almost like it like holds its shape. So I didn't really, I don't really like that aspect of it. And the other things are my own fault. I think I chose the wrong size, even though I gauge swatched, and it's too short on me. So it's something I could fix because I could go back in and pick up the stitches along the waistband and knit it a little bit longer. So I might do that eventually because I do have wool left over. But yeah, so I think it could be a little bit longer. The sleeves are okay, but I do tend to roll up my sleeves, and the ribbing in this yarn, it's not stretchy. It just you can see it doesn't, there's no stretch to it. It just holds. And I don't know if that's a fault of the wool or the yarn itself or the construction or the 1x1 rib. I'm not sure. And then the final thing, which kind of leads into my whip, and the reason I'm doing my next sweater, is the neck. So I've knit 3 jumpers now. 2 have been round necks and 1 has been V-neck. The V-neck is fine, but the round neck, I don't know if you can kind of tell. Let me look at it's very like boat necky. It's very wide, and this I knit the medium size, I believe. Let me see. Let me check my. Oh yeah. So I did make the medium size, and I don't know if it's because. I don't know what it is, but the neck is just so wide. And again, I think it might be that similar thing to do with the ribbing, but I even did a crochet chain on the inside of the neck to try and pull it in, because it stretches so much and so wide, and you can kind of see, like, if I do this, it's so boat necky, and I just don't like that look. It just doesn't look, it's fine, but it's just not what I would wear in my normal, like, style and fashion choices. I would never go for something that looks like this. So as much as I like it, and as much as I enjoy the color, and I do enjoy the kind of coziness of the yarn, I don't enjoy the fit of this. So it's something that I could potentially fix. I mean, I could redo the crochet chain and pull it in even more, and I could knit it a bit longer so it would fit better. But I don't absolutely love it. I do love it, but I just don't think I'm going to reach for it and wear it as often as something else. But I did learn a lot. It was my first time doing short rows ever. First time doing top down, which I really enjoyed, as even though Sleeve Island was a struggle. But it still isn't my favorite, but I'm glad I made it. So those are my finished objects, which kind of lead well into my works in progress. This year was the first year I ever knit socks, and ever since I knit my first socks, I realized I'm never not going to have a pair of socks on my needles, because they're just like so much fun to knit, so enjoyable, so portable, that I will never not knit socks. And I would show you all the socks I've knit, because I have about 4 or 5 pairs that are currently about to just be washed. So I won't show you, I'm not able to show you all of them, apart from the Twisty boys. But here's my current work in progress sock. So this, oh, I've done it again. So this is my current work in progress sock. The yarn is, actually have it here. The yarn is Pentland by Garthenor. So this is a 4-ply. The shade is called Sweeney. It's 170 meters, 50 grams. And it is 100% single flock origin Romney lamb's wool from Wiltshire in England. Again, it's that organic wool. This is so like rustic, and I wouldn't call it sheepy necessarily, but it is like scratchy. And this is my second pair of socks using this yarn, and I love my first pair of socks. There's no pattern, it's just a like a 2x2 rib the whole way down, heel flap and gusset, and then just a regular decrease every second round for the toe, and then Kitchener the toe. I am using the small circumference needles for these. These are actually Addies, and they are super interesting because, don't know if you'll be able to see, there we go. If you can see, the tips are different lengths. So you have like a better hold for me, because I'm a thrower. I can I have more control with the longer needle in my right hand as I like knit, than the two like shorter ones, because I've tried the Hayas and I have Chiaogus as well. And the Hayas, I got the sharp ones and they were way too sharp, like they're literally like almost piercing my finger. And then the Chiaogus were nice, but the tips were quite short. So I did try this, which is like a longer tip, which I really I'm enjoying. Only problem with Addi is that they don't do 2.25 millimeters in this style of needle. They only do like a 2 millimeter and a 2.5 millimeter. So this is 2.5 millimeters, my first time using it. So I've gone down from 72 stitches to 64 to make sure, to see if that like keeps consistent sizing for me. And because it's like a ribbed sock, I'm pretty sure it will be fine. So yeah, so that's kind of, this is like my bring with me everywhere knitting. So I bring this to work with me every day. So on my lunch I can knit, and I really, really enjoy it. It's super, super relaxing to always have a sock with you. So I will forever. And this bag is by Ravelry. It's not designed to be a knitting bag or anything. Ravelry just make bags and wallets and things, but it does have this little, like almost a hole where the zip ends, where you hold it, where you could like, where yarn can come out. So it's not necessarily a knitting bag, but it works just as well as one. What's this? Oh, that's another needle. I love when you just find needles floating around. So that's my first whip. My next whip is in this big, it's by Carhartt, which is like a fashion brand and also a workwear brand. So this is like a tool, designed to be like a toolkit thing. And I use it for knitting. So you can kind of like, you know, stick your needles in the outside pockets, and it's got all this space. So it's perfect at home for kind of throwing a bigger project in. And the project I'm currently working on is another jumper, another sweater. And this is the So Basic sweater by Max the Knitter of Les Garçons, if you know him, or them, Les Garçons, two of them. So this is the sweater that I picked in response to the Flax light. So this is kind of me trying to do a really nice fingering weight sweater, learning the lessons I did from the first one. So at the moment I've split for the sleeves, and I'm probably getting close to halfway down to being done with the body. And already I absolutely love it compared to the Flax light, for the reasons it's fixing kind of all the problems I have with the Flax light. First of all, you can tell the neckline is much tighter and smaller, and trying it on as I'm going, it fits already amazingly, and I'm super excited about it. Obviously once it's like blocked and once the rest of the weight of the sweater is knitted up, maybe things might change a bit, but so far I'm like super, super happy with it. The new things that I've done is there's been short rows. These weren't German short rows, these were wrap and turns, which was the first time I'd ever done that. At the front here, which isn't the most neat wrap and turns, but one of those things. Hopefully it'll block out and be nice. And then the cast on was the tubular cast on, and like the cast on for the Twisty Boys socks, I couldn't believe it when it worked, because you cast on with waste yarn and then you do a few rows, and then the instructions, just the pattern just says remove waste yarn, and I couldn't believe that was even a thing. I was like, if I remove this waste yarn, the whole thing is going to unravel, but it didn't. It's fine, and it's stretchy, and it looks like it comes out of nowhere. I think I kind of understand how it works, but I don't fully. I just love the finish it's made. I do need to weave in my end, obviously, but I'm super, super happy with it. I just need to finish the body. I'm trying to go as fast as I can because it's fingering, and these are 3.5mm needles. It's going pretty slow, but I'm trying to go as fast as I can to get it done. And then it is a very simple basic sweater, but then on the sleeves, there's like just one purl every couple of stitches, which creates this detail that will kind of show on parts when you stretch it, and then, you know, when it's not stretched, you won't see it. So it's a super nice, cute detail. The yarn is Garthenor again. I really, really love it. This is Garthenor Preseli again, which is the same yarn as my Kinship shawl, and the color is elderberry. So it's a fingering weight yarn, and absolutely love it. These are actually on the sleeves, stitch holders from Clover that have like a needle on one side. They're amazing. I love them. Just a bit of a shout out to them. And that is my other main whip. So I only have, this is my other main width. I only have 2 at the moment, but I think having one big project and one smaller project at the same time is probably enough for me. So next up is future plans. The next thing I want to knit is from Lane magazine. This is the winter 2020 issue, and what I want to make is actually on the cover. It is the cowl featured on the cover here. I try to always do a new technique, or try to do something that improves my knitting with every project that I do. And I've only done stranded color work once before in a pair of mittens, but I want to do more of it. So I found this beautiful pattern, which is called the Snowfield by Max the Knitter. And partly because I enjoyed the So Basic sweater so much, I was like, oh my God, I love Max's patterns already, having only done one. So let's do another one to keep the good times rolling. So I've got the yarn for it. The yarn I've got for it is Walcot yarns. Whoop. This is in their Opus base. So Walcot yarns Opus, it's a DK. It is 70% merino, 30% alpaca, and it's 100 grams and there's 325 meters in it. And this is the color Greenery. And I love this color. I don't know why. It's that kind of it's like a bright green, but kind of almost mossy as well. And it feels so good and squishy and nice. And so that's going to be the main color. And then the contrasting color is what's called for in the pattern, which is Qing Fibres. And this is the melted Suri. So it's technically a lace weight, but they say to treat it like it's a fingering, and they kind of do that in the pattern as well. If you're subbing this for something else in the pattern, they say to use a fingering weight. So this is 65% baby Suri and 25% merino, 10% silk. And how much is in it? 175 meters in 50 grams. Now, I've never used anything like this before, so it'll be my first time using a fiber, even winding up a fiber like this. So I'm super excited to try it. And these are the 2 colors together. So I think it'll be absolutely beautiful knitted up together. So I'm so excited about this. It's probably going to be what I cast on next after I finish the jumper. And I'm actually going to try, knitting, because I'm going to try main color throwing and then contrast color continental, so picking. And I was watching an Andrea Mowry video recently, and she said that doing that is a good way to kind of learn how to knit the other way, because you kind of have the comfort of doing the way you know along with the way you don't know. So really excited to try that. So that's my next project. The next thing I want to do is learn how to do brioche knitting. And the way I want to learn is with a hat, which most people say is a good way to learn. And the pattern I've found is called Skipp by Jared Flood from Brooklyn Tweed. And they recommend using Brooklyn Tweed Loft. So I had some Brooklyn Tweed Loft left over from my sweater. And I also had some that I bought because I just wanted to try the wool. And so now I've got 2 colorways of the Brooklyn Tweed Loft in order to try the hat pattern, which is called Skipp. So here are the 2 colors of the first one that I want to try. So this is the one on the bottom is called Tartan, and that's the color I knit my jumper in, and the top one is called Fossil. So I think these will be super, super nice in the color, in the hat pattern. And then the other 2 colors are called Sap. Ooh, here we go. They're called Sap and Pumice. So it's a gray and a kind of a green, a speckly green. So these are the 2 combinations I've chosen. Probably I'll do one for me and one for my boyfriend, or just have them as gift knitting. to try and learn how to do brioche with this pattern called Skipp. It can be knit as like a beanie or as a watch cap. I tend to do watch caps in general. I like the way they look. So that's the next plan I have after probably my sock, maybe. I don't know. I'm really excited to cast on like a bunch of things. And so I'm just like powering through my jumper because I want to finish that so I can kind of cast on more things. I try to be as monogamous as I can, or at least have one like main big project and then one smaller like sock or hat or something small that can be kind of transported around with me. So off the back of learning brioche, the main reason I wanted to learn brioche is because I came across a pattern in this issue of Lane magazine, and it is called Sea Mist by George Cullen. This is the pattern. It's a shawl which is knit in two types of yarns. One is a lace waist and the other is, what is the other one? The other one, fingering. So you knit with fingering and lace, and it's this pattern that starts in the fingering and then moves down the shawl and then brioches with the lace, and then the fingering stops and the lace continues. So it's called sea breeze because it's meant to be like this, the mist of the sea against like green hills essentially, or the hills and the coastline. And I just thought that was so beautiful. And so I went and picked up some yarn for that. It is in my Hide and Hammer bag. This is the, get it up, there we go. Hide and Hammer bag, which I absolutely love. There you go, Hide and Hammer, it's beautiful. This is amazing, these bags. If you've, just get one because they're just the coolest bags in the entire world. They like roll, you can roll the top like this, and they sit like that, so you can knit out of it, and there's like the handle so you can hold it. They're so good. So, little tangent on bags. So the two yarns, I actually got the yarns that were recommended in the pattern, and this is the Jamieson and Smith Shetland wool, and that, as I said, is a fingering weight. It's 4-ply, 100% real Shetland wool. These are 25-gram balls, which is 115 meters, and made in the UK. So this shade I've gotten is shade 141, and then that's knit with onion knit, silk, and kid mohair. And so these are the two colors I've gone for. I can hold them up for you guys. I think they're absolutely beautiful. There we go. So it's keeping that kind of sea breeze, you know, nautical kind of theme going. And this lace weight is like proper lace, which I've never knit with before, which I'm really I'm nervous, but I'm like excited to try it. And then color wise, I got this color because I think it's something that if I really like it, I'll keep it for myself, but if not, I have an idea of someone who I could gift it to, who would really like, who I think it would suit as well. So I will either gift it or I will keep it for myself. I tend to be quite a selfish knitter. It's just something about me. So yeah, so that's currently sitting in my Hide and Hammer bag, waiting until I learn how to brioche, because I need to learn how to brioche before I can do this. But the reason I got this yarn is because I went to a wonderful yarn shop, and because they carried the yarn and they were local to me. So on Friday, I went to the amazing yarn shop called Beautiful Knitters here in London. I went there and I spent, oh God, I might have nearly spent an hour hanging out with the wonderful ladies there, talking about knitting. It was my first time in a knitting shop since the pandemic began. So it was so great to like be in an actual knitting shop, be able to touch yarns and actually talk to people about knitting. and I had the most amazing time there, and I will be going back again and again. I absolutely know I will. One of the reasons I kind of thought of going there was because, first of all, it's like a 20-minute, half an hour walk from where I live here in London. And Inga from the Knitting Traditions podcast, she spoke about it on her podcast, that she got this bag, which I also got, called I Survived 2020, thanks to knitting, which is very true for me. So just a huge shout out to the wonderful people at Beautiful Knitters. I had a great time there for that hour on Friday, and it filled my heart with joy. And I think that's kind of why I've gotten so excited about casting on a bunch of new things, is because I want to cast them on, and then I want to go to yarn shops and meet other knitters and talk about knitting and enjoy our amazing projects. So that's where I got the yarn for the Sea Breeze. And then I also picked up some other bits. So I got this, which is aloe sock wool from Hurtigarn, which is a Danish brand. It is 75% wool and 25% polyamide. I tend to go for like 100% wool yarns, but I thought that this would be amazing for a pair of socks for my boyfriend. I think it'll be a nice pair of like hard wearing socks for him, and he likes grays and blacks and things like this, so I thought these might be like a fun toasty pair of socks for him. So I just picked up that, and it was super cheap. I think this is a really like common, easy to get yarn in Denmark, but not so much here, so I got a ball of that. And then the other thing I got was splurged a little and got some Hedgehog Fibres. This is 50% cashmere, 50% merino, and this color is crystal, and it's amazing. It's so soft, you just want to like rub it. But I got this for my boyfriend as well, because he gets quite cold, so I want to make him a hat out of this. And I didn't know exactly which hat pattern I wanted yet, but now I think I've decided on which one I want, which is a Musselburgh hat by Isol de Teague. And so I think I might get that pattern and make him a nice like toasty hat out of this, but I might need a second skein. So I'm going to see if I can get another skein for them to make another hat. And yeah, so I think that's that. I think that's everything I got. It's a lot of stuff, but I think it will keep me busy for the foreseeable future. Outside of these, once I have this sweater finished, I have another sweater idea. I have the next sweater I kind of want to cast on. Sock wise, I want to do more toe-up socks, maybe. And then shawl wise and hat wise, I think I've got it covered. So if you've made it this far, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope I didn't speak too fast, and I hope you enjoyed. I will try to do this probably once a month maybe, because I'm not a very fast knitter, and here in London from next week things are opening back up again, so it will be my evenings will be much busier, because I'll actually be able to go places and do things and go to museums and cafes and stuff like that. So I'll probably get more knitting done on my sock in cafes. But I think once a month is a good enough time for me to have things done that you'll be able to see progress. And so yeah, if you liked, subscribe, hit that like button, leave me a comment on what you're working on right now. I love when I watch podcasts, I like to kind of pick a project and do that project while I'm watching the podcast, and then I always comment on what I did. So if you're currently knitting on something while watching this, please let me know what you're knitting on, because I think that's really cool to be progressing through something together. I tend to turn heels when I watch podcasts, so maybe you're turning a heel as well. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you're well and safe in your world, and I hope you are going to have a wonderful May as we move into a new season. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Bye.